Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and we're going to take a look at where the 20-week moving average is, our bull market support, where we hold the line. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we've talked about the 20-week moving average a lot. If you're new to the channel, this is our Bitcoin bull market band, essentially. So what this is it's not complicated. It's the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. I prefer the 20-week SMA. Got a lot of comments from people that say they prefer the 21-week EMA. I said, what the hell? Why not add them both, right? If it's helpful to you guys, then it's helpful to me. So let's say this is our bull market support band. We want to hold that as support during a bull market. Even in bull markets, we will see retracements back to this band, right? Sometimes 30%, sometimes 40%, sometimes 20%. But we will see pullbacks to this band, and if we are in fact in a bull market, this is where the bulls will come out to hold the line. This is the last line of defense until it's the bad news bears. And so I would say these are friendly neighborhood bears. I don't really consider them to be very aggressive bears, because if we are, if we're coming back down 20%, 30%, that's fine, right? Friendly neighborhood bears, they're not that harmful. They're just taking us back to the 20-week moving average, trying to keep us grounded, not get too emotional. However, when we get up to this point and we're having a blow off top that's 100% over the 20-week moving average, and we break through the 20-week moving average, these are the angry bears. And you don't want to be in the market when the angry bears come out. And by the way, I'm going to be an angry bear. If I'm still, around this point, if we reach that point again in say a future theoretical bubble, I will turn into a bear. You guys have only seen me as a bull because I've only started this channel in 2019, and it's all about the momentum shifts in the market. But I can assure you there will come a day where the tides will turn, and I'll be honest with you guys. I came to you in 2019 with a message of, this is the asset class where I think that we can experience the best risk-adjusted returns over the next several years. So that whenever it happens, I think in a few years, but if it happens sooner, then fine. Whenever it does happen, I'm going to, bring the opposite message and say, what, guys, I believe we're overextended. I don't think we're, if we see a pullback, people are probably going to say, oh, it's a healthy correction, but the writing hopefully will be on the wall at that point, and we can say, all right, it's time to take a step back from the market. We've gotten a little bit overextended here, and we want to see things come back down for a while before making another calculated investment into the market. This is not financial advice, but we just have so many indicators that we use, right? We have our logarithmic regression bands that'll try to help us identify the next peak, right? So we'll try to help use that to identify the next peak. We also have our regression rainbow that we recently spoke about, and if I hide the regression band, you can see it better. One of the key things that we've talked about in many videos, it's been a while since I talked about it on the channel, but that we tend to go down 2.5 log lines between each peak to peak. And so if we go down another 2.5 log lines, it would put us in this band. But hopefully we don't get to this. Hopefully we peak at this band, but in a few years when this band is over 100K. We have this indicator as well. We have so many different things. We also have the risk metric. If you guys are not familiar with the risk metric and you guys want access to it, remember you can find it at intothecryptoverse.com. You'll get access to the risk metric, as well as weekly reports, weekly videos, Telegram alerts channel, TradingView indicators. These TradingView indicators I'm showing you guys, you'll get access to those as well. So check it out. You can pay with crypto as well if you prefer to get a nice 15% discount. So, looking at this macro scale, as I said, it's all fun and games now, but one day the tides will turn, and we'll try to identify that, because we don't want to be in the market if we're about to enter a multi-year bear market. Okay, for now I still think the risk-adjusted returns on crypto should be fairly good for the next several years, but there will come a time where hopefully when I tell you guys will believe me, and not just think I'm just someone trying to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market. So where are we now? Let's take a look at our bull market support. Okay, so we take a look at it. We say, where's the 20-week moving average? Well, the 20-week moving average, according to this, is around $11,500. Right, $11,500. This is the BLX though. It's not quite up to date. If we pull up a different one, let's pull up Bitcoin USD, which should be a little bit more up to date because it doesn't just rely on closing on those, just single closing candles. You can see the 20-week moving average is actually at 11,836. As we said a few videos ago, we will expect the 20-week moving average to go up by approximately $300 to $400 per week, and it has. It was 11.5 last week. Now it's 11.8. I would expect this to continue as long as this trend continues, and it might even get more aggressive as we continue on. If this trend, if we continue moving up this quickly, it might become $400 to $500 a week on average. But for now, $300 a week, between $300 to $400 a week or so. Therefore, if we are on that same track, then in 4 weeks from we could be at around $13,000, maybe a little higher than $13,000. Where the 20-week moving average could be, and if we do come back and test it at 13K, so be it. If we don't, and Bitcoin say continues higher, and let's say pushes to 18K or something, and then we come back to test it, maybe we test it at 14K and try to hold it. But again, it's all going to depend on how long we can stay at these very overextended levels. Now, if you are, if you want the emotion to drive you, you'll see this kind of stuff and say, well, it's just going to go up forever, right? We know this is not the case. Even in the best case scenario, like really the most bullish scenario would not be one that I'm a proponent of, and that would be the 4-year cycle. Even in the most bullish scenario where Bitcoin peaks next year, it still will likely have aggressive pullbacks to this level, right? We have plenty of these where Bitcoin would pump 70%, right? 80%. Here's another one, 115%. All of them took us back to the 20-week eventually, and it was a pretty nasty pullback when it happened. This one, so far, it's taken us about 60% in about 6 weeks or so. So pretty impressive stuff from Bitcoin. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Yes, we can pump higher. Yes, we can go to 20K. Is it going to be sustainable in the short term? Most likely not. Is that a bad thing? No. Business as usual, right? It's par for the course for the market. We realize that we're going to have short-term bubbles along the way. We realize we're going to have corrections along the way. And we just need to be cognizant of that so you don't get too emotionally attached to whatever's going on a specific day. Okay? I'll remind you guys, in case you have forgotten, if we just go back 6 weeks, the price of Bitcoin 6 weeks ago was between $10,000 and $11,000. A month and a half ago, right? It was between $10,000 and $11,000. Now we're sitting pretty at 16.1K. It tells you how quickly it can change. And if you guys were watching the channel back then, we talked about this here. We talked about Bitcoin testing the 20-week moving average as support, saying, you know what? It's a scary time. If we hold it, sentiment can change on a dime, right? It can change on a dime if we hold it. If we fail to hold it, it's not good, right? It's just simply not good. That's why I said I'm buying Bitcoin in this region, because it's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm willing to take it. I recognize that we could come down, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. And if it doesn't work out in the short term, I still think Bitcoin will bail me out over the long term. It worked out. Again, if you guys follow the premium list, I was mostly focusing on accumulating Bitcoin in this region, because when Bitcoin is near the 20-week moving average, it tends to outperform most other coins in the market, namely because if Bitcoin were to fall below the 20-week, most of these coins would bleed against it, making it so that a lot of investors aren't nearly as confident in those coins just because of how finicky they can be. And then in the best case scenario where Bitcoin rallies on up, this is also not good for altcoins, because when Bitcoin volatility is high to the upside or the downside, it typically is a bad thing for altcoins in terms of their valuation against Bitcoin. Yeah, if Bitcoin's rallying against USD, a lot of all the other altcoins are going to rally against USD, but so what, right? If you could have performed better by holding Bitcoin, what was the point of holding altcoins during that time anyways? So that's generally my thinking. So again, the 20-week SMA now is at around 11,800 plus or minus a few hundred depending on what exchange you use. We'll see how Bitcoin continues to fare over the coming weeks. As always, be prepared for a pullback at some point, but don't underestimate how high short-term bubbles can go for Bitcoin, because a lot of times they can go higher than most people think. Arguably, we already are higher than most people think. We're higher than I thought we were going to go this quickly. If you had asked me back at the beginning of October if Bitcoin would be at 16K by mid-November, I would probably say I would doubt it. But again, it's possible, but I doubt it. 14K is a little bit more believable, but 16K is definitely getting up there. So again, Bitcoin will always leave people guessing in the short term. I stand to the fact that I think that short-term moves are often like completely unpredictable, but the long-term moves have a lot more bearing, and it's these long-term moves that we like to focus on and identifying just general times to get into the market and out of the market. This isn't the BLX, so it only goes back a few years, but we showed it earlier, right? So general times to get into the market and get out of the market by just looking at the macro scale. What happens in between these bands, or within a band, is more or less just noise. And there will come a day where we really start to traverse this no man's land in here and go up to the upper band. I believe there will come a day. Obviously, there's no guarantee. There's no free lunch. But I believe there will come a day where we really start to traverse this no man's land and go up to the next paradigm shift in the price of Bitcoin. And that's going to be a very exciting time. And I hope you guys are here to watch it happen. So again, if you guys like the content, subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 50,000 subscribers. Remember to check out the premium list if you guys want access to exclusive content. We also do have the Telegram channel in the description below. Give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.